Before we begin, please imagine the bell notification is on and you're subscribed to Huna Stories. The day we buried him, the board stood in a perfect line. Dark coats, measured expressions, the kind of grief that understands cameras. I stood one step behind them. Not family, not legacy, just the chief operating officer. Useful, replaceable. They spoke about vision, discipline, continuity. No one mentioned the envelope he had pressed into my hand 3 weeks earlier in a hospital room that smelled faintly of antiseptic and old paper. No announcements, he had said. His voice wasn't weak, just careful. Let them show you who they are. I didn't argue. I didn't thank him either. We had worked together long enough to understand restraint. After the service, the board gathered in a private dining room across the street. I wasn't invited, but I attended anyway. Habit. They talked about interim control, market reassurance, stability, language for shareholders. I noticed how easily my name slipped out of strategic conversations. By Wednesday, my calendar was lighter. By Thursday, my access to certain internal reports was under review. No one confronted me directly. That would have required courage. Instead, they practiced omission. I considered saying something. A simple sentence. I hold majority ownership now. It would have ended the choreography instantly. But he hadn't transferred control for drama. He transferred it for clarity. So I waited. The meeting happened the following Monday at 8:15 a.m. Formal notice, printed letter, 2 board members, corporate HR present for procedure, security positioned outside the glass wall. Not aggressive, just visible enough. The chairman cleared his throat before speaking. We've decided to move in a different direction, effective immediately. The word we floated longer than it should have. I let the silence stretch before responding. Not defiance, just space. Understood, I said. They seemed almost disappointed by the lack of resistance. One of them avoided eye contact entirely. Another watched me closely, searching for panic. There was none. Humiliation is sharp when it arrives. I felt it, a heat under the ribs. Years of work dismissed in a paragraph. But beneath it was something steadier. I packed slowly, no dramatic gestures. I shook hands with my assistant, cleared personal files, sent no farewell email. As I passed the reception desk, I smiled at the security guard who wouldn't meet my eyes. Got it, I had told them in the room, and I meant it. The termination paperwork moved quickly, filed with corporate counsel and logged through the regulatory reporting system that tracks executive changes in publicly traded companies. What they didn't account for was that majority ownership triggers automatic cross-verification. When a controlling shareholder is removed from an executive role without shareholder vote, the system flags it. They had been so focused on removing me from management, they forgot to check the cap table. The review began Thursday afternoon. Quietly, our external law firm requested updated ownership confirmations. The transfer documents, signed, notarized, dated, were already on file. He had been precise, 51%. Not symbolic, not advisory, controlling. By Friday evening, the auditors understood what the board did not. Over the weekend, the chairman drafted a press release announcing strategic leadership restructuring. It was never published. Monday morning at 9 a.m., the board reconvened for what they assumed would be a standard transition update. Instead, 3 additional chairs were occupied: external counsel, lead auditor, compliance officer. No raised voices, no theatrics, just documents placed carefully on the table. Ownership percentages recalculated, voting rights outlined, fiduciary exposure explained in slow, undeniable language. The chairman interrupted once. There must be a misunderstanding. There isn't, counsel replied. When you watch power leave a room, it doesn't explode. It thins. Faces don't contort, they settle. By 9:47 a.m., it was formally acknowledged that the majority shareholder, me, had not approved any executive termination vote because none had been requested. At 10:03 a.m., my phone rang. I let it ring twice before answering. "We need you to come in," the chairman said. His tone had changed. Not apologetic, just recalibrated. "I'm aware," I replied. I arrived at 10:30. No security this time. The same boardroom, the same polished table. No one stood when I entered. Counsel summarized the situation for the record. The termination was procedurally invalid. The board had exceeded its authority under shareholder agreements. Remedies were outlined. Options presented. I listened. There was no satisfaction in the moment, no surge of triumph, just a quiet alignment of structure. They had moved too quickly. I had not. I'm not interested in dissolving the board, I said finally. Several shoulders relaxed slightly. But governance will change. No speeches, no accusations. Betrayal does not require elaboration when it has already documented itself. 2 board members resigned by the end of the week, not publicly disgraced, just absent. The chairman requested a private conversation. I declined. Trust, once clarified, does not automatically regenerate. The press release that eventually went out was brief. Executive leadership confirmed following review of governance structure. No mention of the firing, no mention of the stake. Markets prefer stability. So do I. People asked later why I hadn't revealed the majority ownership immediately, because power announced too early invites performance. Power revealed at the right moment invites correction. I kept his final instruction exactly as he intended. Let them show you who they are. They did. The company is steady now, profitable, quieter. I still sit at the same end of the table. The seat didn't change, only the understanding did. There was no celebration, no victory dinner, just a Monday morning where structure reasserted itself, and a room that no longer mistakes silence for weakness.